A few weeks back, the Indian High Commission in London witnessed violent and ugly protests. Sponsored pro-Pakistani groups were behind this protest. We reported this story. We even questioned the Mayor of London on why no action was being taken against these protesters, and his justification in writing was this: people have a right to protest, said Mr. Sadiq Khan. It seems this right does not hold when the protest is directed against the British government. And their unprecedented protests we're talking about. For the past 2 weeks, London has witnessed a series of demonstrations. One of London's most famous tourist spots, the Trafalgar Square, has turned into a protest site, just like perhaps the Jantar Mantar in Delhi. Guess what the police did then? They banned protests altogether. Take a look.
Earlier this year, the Indian High Commission witnessed these ugly scenes. Pro-Pakistani protesters launched violent protests on 2 occasions. Windows were smashed, walls were damaged, but the British authorities stood by the protesters. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, claimed that it was a small minority that was behind the violence. In a statement to Wion on the 5th of September, a spokesperson for the Mayor of London said that Sadiq Khan supports the right to peaceful and lawful protests. But after a major campaign against climate change broke out in London 2 weeks ago, the British lawmakers are now following a different rulebook.
We love you! We love you!
Campaigners from Extinction Rebellion, an environmental pressure group, will now be stopped from protesting. In the last 14 days, the City of London has witnessed an unprecedented campaign. Activists glued themselves to buildings of major companies. This includes the offices of the British public broadcaster, BBC. The activists even projected climate activist Greta Thunberg's speech on the building of the British Parliament. The police suspended the protests with a heavy hand.
Give Keys a chance!
We're rebellion.
The Extinction Rebellion campaign is an attempt to mount pressure on the British government to do more to protect the planet. To make their voices heard, the activists occupied the Trafalgar Square. They glued themselves to the ground. Some even planted a tent. Unable to control the protests, the London police forced the protesters to leave. More than 1,400 protesters were arrested. The police had ordered the activists to end their campaign or risk arrest. Essentially denying the very right to protest that became the basis to defend violence outside the Indian High Commission. But the protesters have vowed to soldier on. Extinction Rebellion has declared that it will defy the police order and keep its campaign going. Bureau Report, Wion, World is One.